Hello, welcome, gorgeous beings of light. This is Elmara coming to you with miracle number 88. And since it's International Women's Day, well, it was actually that for us yesterday, but it's that for America and most of the rest of the world. I want to speak to you today about the power that exists within you, not only as a woman, but a man as well, because you have female aspects. But women are the creators of life. Without women, without women, there is no continuance of life. Women are the ones that carry all of the power that can grow another human being inside of them. And actually, going back 5,000 years or more, we actually didn't even need a man to impregnate us. We had it within our power and DNA to be able to spontaneously fertilize an egg and give birth to a child if we wanted to. It might be a bit more than 5,000 years, but it's certainly something that happened in the past. Just breathe for me, please. It's going to blow your mind, this miracle. So just take a big, long, slow, deep breath in through the nose, filling yourself up, your tummy and your lungs, and then breathing out with a sigh. So I wanted to just honor women in particular, but also men who are aware that they have both a female and male side, because you can still tap into this energy if you're a male. But the point that I really wanted to make here is that the reason there is so much friggin' crap around about what you look like, what an extraordinary way to move you away from who you truly are by focusing on what you look like, what your hair looks like, what your body shape looks like, what the color of your skin is, the color of your eyes, color of your hair, and if you're old or whatever, like all of a sudden you get past 40 and you're on the scrap heap for some reason. Instead of someone like me who's in my 60s, I know absolutely who I am, and I'm a little short, round, fat lady whose teeth and her hair are falling out. Not quite that bad, but a little bit like that. Because I'm trying to find a way to regrow teeth, because my dentists have tried to kill me the last 2 times I've seen them. But I know infinitely how powerful I am. I know the power that exists within me to heal people, and that power exists within you too. It exists in every human being on planet Earth. But the women who are beings that are born as women on Earth are the creators of life. We are life creation. If all of the women died out on Earth, there would be no continuance of life. So just think about that for a minute. And imagine what would happen if men, there's a fantastic video that I just found that's on my Facebook page if you want to go and find it. But imagine, I knew this before, but this man just said everything that I would say about it. And I think my comment on it is I want to marry him. Imagine if men knew this about their women, knew this about their partners, and they gave them the time and space and blessed them and cherished them and allowed the woman to wake up and know that she was infinitely powerful and beautiful and gorgeous and sexy and radiant and infinite and eternal, no matter what she looked like. No matter what stretch marks or what her body shape was, she knows that she is an infinitely powerful being of light. Imagine what would happen to the world. All of this crap in the world would stop if women remembered the magnificence of who they truly are. Just breathe for me, please. And as you wake up this power this wisdom, this knowledge, this ancient knowledge of the things that you can actually do through your body. That's why all this bullshit about being, it's about being in your body and being grounded on earth, and that's why you came here. And all the rubbish about leaving, going to the fifth dimension because the spaceship's coming to get you is just another myth that's been created to keep you away from standing in your power, being in your power, owning all of that power. And when you know that, you can single-handedly, as the miracle I'm about to show you, do things like this. But imagine if all of us women remembered the magnificence of who we truly are, and we woke up. I don't really like using the word woke because it's such a freaking trendy word now, but imagine if all the women were able to awaken their magnificence and shine so friggin' brightly. Imagine all of this nonsense that's happening on earth would stop. But that's why all the people that run, the 10%ers that run the world, have always got pictures of you having to look like this and have friggin' Botox and, it's just ridiculous that we have forgotten the magnificence of who we are. And the more that you forget that, the more your spirit gets dulled down inside you, and then the more you get sick and all sorts of crap like that. So just breathe for me, please. So this is just one of many, many miracles that happen. I don't think I've told it before. It is to do with the fires on the south coast of New South Wales. And it was just constant from about the 19th of December, all the way through. The worst fires happened on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. We were evacuated twice. And I'm sure I've mentioned to you before, I was staying in a house looking after a little gorgeous chihuahua called Chloe. And the fire was 1 kilometre west of us for most of those 6 weeks that I was there. And a couple of times the wind changed and it was howling. This fire was howling at this town, and I knew that God had sent me there to help save those 6,000 people. And some of you are going to go, oh, that's very big-headed of you. Well, just shut up and listen, and you might learn something about how powerful you truly are. And so on one of the occasions, so there's 2 occasions where I was evacuated, 2 occasions when the fire was raging at us. One of them was like tired of sitting in the car and in the heat down the beach, and I just took the dog home but couldn't get back to the house. It was the dust and the smoke was so bad. There was a rescue truck that had a yellow light spinning, and that's all I could see of the truck. And I couldn't even see if any cars were coming, so I had to say to Source, tell me when to turn. So I put off the road. I was only like less than 500 metres from the house, but I just couldn't get to it. And actually, when I put up the lights, there was a lovely man. I put up the light, and I must have been looking pensive, and he said to me, darling, are you okay? He yells out the window from his car next to me on the right. We drive on the right side of the road. So we drive on the left, but our steering wheel's on the right side of the car. And I said, yeah. And he said, where are you headed? And I just thumbed to go left. And he goes, oh, my God, love, good luck, because that's where the fire was coming in. Just breathe for me, please. Anyway, so at that point I knew I couldn't go back to the house. I waited for Source to say, go now. I went, and obviously I didn't get hit by a car because, as I said, you could barely see the truck. Or once I got alongside of it, that's when I thought I would turn. But there was just a yellow light flashing. So that's all you could really see. So I think I've already told you that at one point, when the fire was raging at us, I asked Source, could it please change the direction of the fire? And so it was raging at us because nobody could get out of this town. The highway was blocked to the left, the highway was blocked to the right, the fire was to the west, and the ocean was to the east. And most people wouldn't have been able to get down to the ocean because a lot of people that had a second car took that down. All the parking down there was already taken up because people took their cars down and parked it in case the fire was coming at them. And of course, the frickin' media did a fantastic job of riling up fear in people every day. Even a friend of mine who was a healer, and she'd been a healer all her life, went from being the most rational, powerful healer I knew into just complete and utter ridiculous fear because of the situation. There was no fuel and people just queued for 2 hours to fill their tank of petrol up, and I don't know why, because it couldn't freaking go anywhere. And but I remember that I just asked Source when I needed to fill up, because I was down to my last little bitty bit, because they had no power and therefore and no trucks could get in because of the fire. No trucks could get in to fill up the petrol stations to get petrol. And when it did, every man and his dog raced out to fill their car up with petrol. But when it came time for me to do that, I just said, God, I want to drive in and fill up like I normally do. Drove in, there was 2 cars in front of me, filled my car up immediately. That's the power that exists within you. But what I started to say there was raging at us this particular time. And I just prayed and asked God to change the direction of the wind. And it did. It was coming straight at us. And from the west, we're 1 kilometre away. And the direction it did, it turned before it hit the houses and turned north. But it went down the hill and took out 13 houses. Now, we didn't lose any loss of life, so I was happy about that, but I kind of felt like I might have failed a little bit, so I thought I must be more specific next time this happens. So the next time it's happening is this time I told you about just then, when all I could see was a yellow light of this, like rescue truck or whatever. What do they call those trucks that when you have a crash, they come along and pick you up and take you away? One of those trucks. Can't think of the name now because I'm right in the middle of the story. So I drive back down to the beach with little Chloe in the car, who was also getting a bit fed up with everything. And I remember just praying and asking God to stop the wind, because it was howling. It was howling and you could see it, and there was smoke and it was so brown. I took photos of them, which I only just deleted the other day because I thought that's a stupid thing to hang on to in your phone. But I remember thinking, we can stop this. I just need some help. God, I just need some help. What can I do to stop this freaking fire from doing it? That's why you sent me here. And I just got this intuitive thought to send out text messages asking anyone who got it to pray immediately to stop the fire, to stop the wind. And whatever phone I had or phone plan I had would only let me send 20 text messages at a time. So I sent 20 text messages. I typed the message out saying, we're in a bit of trouble here. Anyone who can pray, can you please pray for the wind to stop, because the fire, which is less than 1 kilometre west, is raging at us now. Please pray if you can. Sent that text to 20 people. Then just copied the text and sent it to another 20 people. So 40 people I sent it to. People who I knew were either spiritual or who, if they got that, they would pray. Or there was someone who did believe in praying. What do you think happened next? Within about 10 seconds of the 40th text going out, I suppose these miracles just bring me to my knees in absolute gratitude. But the wind just stopped. It just stopped. Just breathe for me, please. It just stopped. It was howling. You could hear it howling. I was about 4 kilometres away at the ocean, and you could still hear it howling, and it just stopped. And I learnt to do that because of my mistake I made in changing direction and sending it down the hill, and it taking out 13 houses on the outskirts of town. Just breathe for me, please. That's the power that exists within you. to command even nature to stop. And this is a big example of it, but I have used it to ask the rain to hold off if I'm in town shopping for half an hour till I get home and take my washing off the line. It'll be pouring in town, but I get up here, get the washing off the line, and then it starts raining. There's so much more that you have the capacity to do within you, and most people have forgotten that. And so if you truly want to know the infinite magnificence and power that exists within you, then please consider doing our Become a Powerful Fifth Dimension Spiritual Activator and Healer, because we will teach you how to access that power within you. This is no wishy-washy white light stuff. I did Reiki 40 years ago, so it's way, way, way beyond Reiki. It would be the next level for those people that have been doing Reiki and Theta and pranic healing and still haven't received the shifts that you're looking for. You still can't hear your guides and angels. You still can't. You're still struggling financially. So have a think about it if you feel like you want to do it. The cost is only $2,222. I charge $14,888 for my 10-week one-on-one session. So it's an absolute bargain. When it'll be the only live course I do, because it will become an online course. And so if you want to experience it, you will get 10 live sessions, one a week, with me running them. You'll get 10 Q&A sessions, one a week. We're thinking about adding an Ask Me Anything, but that will depend on the class size. So if we've got more than, say, 10 people in it, we'll probably add a once a week Ask Me Anything class as well, so people can ask. It'll be recorded so that you can have it forever. And when it's finished, you will be able to use this fifth dimensional technique to access the power within you and to... Sorry, my pussycat just reached his little paw out and touched me on the foot, which I find just gorgeous. You'll be able to use this to activate the power within other people, to activate the power within yourself, to make a huge difference in the world. So all the details of the course are below. I'm adding an extra section into it that came up this morning. So we'll also be activating your star seed origins and planets and all the gifts that come with being aware of your soul's origins. There's more about that in tomorrow's chat, which, by the way, I just did, but called it Miracle 89 and didn't realise it was Miracle 88. And this one was just ever so present because it's Australian Women's Day to do this today. So just breathe for me, please. See if you can't feel that power that exists within you. Go past what you look like, what everybody's told you, you know. And I want you to understand that sometimes your training, sometimes the things that happened to you when you were a child, we just have to get that transmuted to the power as to why you chose those parents and those circumstances. Because my charming family, and I love them dearly, but my father's favourite thing to say was, you're worthless and you'll never amount to anything, or you're useless and you'll never amount to anything. Now, I'm very aware, as a mature woman now, that that was the crap that was fed to him by his father. My mother used to often say to me, self first, self last, and if there's anything left over, self again. And it took me a long time to integrate that, but, you know, and there was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and even sexual abuse in my childhood. But you can tell from my baby photos that I came in knowing exactly what was up. There's also stories about me sitting in a lotus position when I could sit up at 5 months of age. I just sat there, crossed my little fat chubby legs and put my thumb and finger into a chin mudra. There's a photo of me doing that. So, and there's no way that any of my family did yoga or anything else for that matter. I used to say that too when Spirit was teaching me. You know, you choose your parents and your circumstances in order to learn. And I used to teach that as well. But I used to, in the back of my head, go, there's no way I bloody chose those bunch of rednecks to be my family. And then, actually, I could tell you that miracle tomorrow. Oh, not tomorrow. It'll be the day after that now. I'll tell you that miracle because that's quite fabulous. How I remembered, how I got the download that I really did choose them, and how it changed my life after that. So I won't go there now for you, but I want you women, especially, but women and men, to remember you're not these worthless beings. You're not these bag of bones and skin. You have this powerful light that when you reclaim that and stop focusing on what's wrong with you and start focusing on everything that's right with you, you will shine so brightly that people are healed from just walking past you in the street. You don't have to go out and lay your hands on people if you don't want to. Just go about doing what you're doing with your light turned on. And that's what eventually Spirit had said to me. Jeffrey with a J said to me when I was like threatening to find a gun and shoot myself around 38 years of age when I'd done like 15, 18 years of work and I was in a bigger mess than when I started. And I remember screaming at God, if you don't come and help me, I'm going to find a gun and shoot myself. And in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. in the morning, Jeffrey with a J, I knew my eyes were closed. He just filled the whole room with light and he just said, if you're stumbling around in the dark, just turn the bloody light on. He probably didn't say bloody, but the Aussie girl in me remembers that it's as that. Just breathe for me, please. You are so infinitely powerful. And we shifted then our awareness. We shifted our awareness from focusing. I shifted my awareness from trying to fix myself because they just kept repeating, you're not broken, you don't need fixing, you just need to remember the magnificence of who you truly are. And that's what our 10-week program will be about for you. So just breathe for me. Alrighty, we're at the end of our time again now, so do check out the information below and do join us if you want to know the power and wisdom that exists within you. Love, love, love.